Hello, welcome back. Happy Friday. How are you feeling? How are you doing? I hope all is well. Welcome back to another live episode of Lou Reviews. I'm your host, Luis Jimenez, or otherwise known as Lou. Welcome to the show, the destination for critical thinking in the realm of the unexplained. You guys, if you haven't already, first time of the show, give it a second before you like, share, and subscribe. But if it's your not first time of the show, if you're back, please do me a favor, share the show. Share the link. Tell everybody we're live. Like the show. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell. That way you're notified when we go live on Monday and Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, we've got some stuff to talk about. And of course, if you really love the show, Patreon link in the description below. Want to say hello to everyone in the chat before we get on to what we're going to talk about. Simon Fly, member Dana Shadell, what's going on? I'm sorry to hear that you are sick. I'm not hearing this is not happening. Hope this show puts a smile on your face. UFO Cholo, thank you for being here. First one in the chat. And Stone 8, thank you for being here. We will be talking about UFO Twitter Week. That is for sure. The good, the bad, and the ugly. B. Baker, thank you for being here. Wise Monkey, what is shaking? You guys, all of you. Oh, here we go. You sure are here. Cannot wait for my new book. Agent Smith, thank you for being here. All right. So, yeah, we've got some stuff to talk about today. Obviously, we just mentioned UFO Twitter Week. We're also going to be discussing the three-body problem because it's now a new series on Netflix. Although we won't be talking about that aspect of it, the sort of the fiction aspect of it. We're going to be talking about the actual philosophy and sort of science behind the three-body problem. I found a cool little short TED Talk that sort of breaks it down very neatly. So we'll go over that. Let's hear. Also, we're going to go over a quote from Tim Gallaudet. And it was a quote that he shared from another organization. I think this is the third one now that Tim Gallaudet is a part of. So, yeah, I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous now with Mr. Gallaudet. It truly is. But I went and looked. I actually wanted to bring this up a couple of weeks ago, the Unhidden organization it's called. So now Tim Gallaudet is part of Unhidden, Soul, and I believe the Galileo Project, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not Galileo, he might be part of 4. Galileo and Americans for Safe Aerospace. So, you know, Tim Gallaudet will say yes to every single USO and UAP and UFO organization and interview, other than the tough ones. Yeah, it's funny. Hold on one second. So, let's switch studios here, shall we? So, let's talk about UFO Twitter Week. Good old UFO Twitter Week. So, man, this is a very interesting week. It's not just UFOs that fall under the UFO Twitter Week, as we'll find as we go through the lineup of UFO Twitter Week. So there is, and I think the way most people will pitch this is it's just a bunch of people. It's just a subculture, man. You know, we're just getting together. We're just talking about this stuff. We're just talking about the Dog Man and future folklore and the UFO book clubs and, you know, remote viewing and astral projection and UFO community creators and UAP medical associations, all sorts of very questionable things as far as it's not, I won't say, let's not say questionable. Let's say just pseudoscience. It's a week full of pseudoscience. Now, a part of me loves this shit. Like, I love listening to this stuff. I've been listening to this stuff all week. It's funny, most of the times the discussions almost always divulge into nothing to do with what the actual title of that discussion was supposed to be. It always divulges into some absolute batshit crazy conspiracy theory. And that's the problem with these discussions, is there's no governor. There's no one to say, all right, I think this bus has hit its top speed limit. We should probably slow her down. I mean, we could go faster, but it's just not really designed to go that fast. But UFO Twitter Week does not give a fuck. Everything flies. Everything flies. Everything is real. Everything is valid. Everything is validated. And that's where my enjoyment starts to get sucked out of it, because then you start getting into the conversations. Oh, okay, it's about Dogman. And then all of a sudden, you know, you get other people who are like, this is real. Let me tell you a real story about what happened when Dogman crossed the road. This was an actual legitimate story told on UFO Twitter Week during their Dogman section on March 26th with Tony Merkel and Fringe from 3, I guess, to 6 p.m. because that's when the next show started. But it was like, witness saw these multiple dogmen cross the road to meet up with Bigfoot. I shit you not. That was the story that was being sold as something that really happened, that had multiple witnesses. None of the witnesses were there. It could not be corroborated with any data. It was just a story. It was a trust me bro story. And at the surface level, people are like, well, what's the harm in that? Who could possibly believe that? And you'd be shocked. There's a lot of people that think this stuff is real and that Bigfoot and Dogman are connected to UFOs and aliens and abductions in different dimensions. And I think this, and we'll just go through the lineup, and what I'm about to say is just fact. I think an organized religious cult week like this really propagates some very awful people. Awful people. Awful people. What's today's date? Today's the 29th. Oh, somebody just followed. Thank you for following, by the way. Fagap 454 over there on Twitch. Thank you for following. Black Hat subscribed on YouTube 3 days ago. Thank you for subscribing. And the Shroom Man followed on Twitch 3 days ago. So thank you guys for that. So shout out to you guys. Okay, so so we've got the Monroe Institute with Hollywood and Luigi Sciambarella. Hilarious. Then remote viewing and astral projection with Octopus and Ron. Then you've got UAP Disclosure 2024 with Nick Gold, who has shown he's definitely not open-minded and has a bias. That's at the very least. He's just not a cool dude. I wouldn't want to hang out with him or share a beer with him or anything. Sure, I wouldn't want to share a beer with anybody, like, drinking out of the same cup, but clinking glasses and swapping stories. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that with him. Anyway, Dogman with Tony Merkel and Fringe, which we just lightly brushed on. Future Folklore with Joel Caves and Ariel. UFO Book Club with Anonymous Librarian. Shake and Armed, or Shake and Ahmed. Then we got Doomer Space with Ulrich, Reed Summers, and John Bradenberg. Brits in Ufology with all-time grifter and terrible people. Vinnie Adams, Dan Zetterstrom, who doxed rather on our show here. Paul Sinclair, Digby, David Young, and Oak. Don't know those other guys, but the first two guys are pretty terrible. UFO Research Group with Mellow Demon and Money Penny. Wonderful. Abductions with James Bartley and Fringe. Remote Viewing with Astral and Daz. Consciousness and Disclosure with Hollywood. Estimate of the Situation in Grant Cameron. Yikes. Yeah. I'm like, the problem with all of these, not one, again, just like not one governor, not one sort of, well, look, can we look at this from a scientific perspective or a factual perspective? Don't want to even say skeptic, just someone whose feet is firmly planted in reality. It's just simple as that. They're just not there in any of these conversations. UFOs and Paranormal Activity, again with Hollywood. And yeah, this is today. So at 9:30 EST, so 6:30, this conversation with two of the worst people on UFO Twitter. UAP Mike and his wife, Cosmic Dahlia. Just, this is like they actually put their names, they gave them a time, put it under this banner, welcome arms. Yeah, you guys are the best. UAP Mike and Cosmic Dahlia. We've gone over so many times, and I'm not going to waste any time today on the tactics. We've dismantled UAP Mike live here on the show. When he tried his bullshit tactics here live. Yeah, these are the worst people, hands down, in UFO Twitter. It's not even close. And it just, that to me is one of the main reasons I stopped listening around, where was it? I think definitely before Brits in Ufology. I think it was around Future Folklore the second day. Because it was just too much. And there was just so many infactual things being said that people were selling as facts. It was just a festering hole of conspiracy theory. And I just didn't want to be any part of it. I didn't want to help it in the algorithm. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. But yeah, once you get to UAP Mike, that's where I definitely check out. Then tomorrow you've got UAP Hidden, which we're going to talk about them today, and UAP Med, which we've had John Rowe a few times, or Ted Rowe, excuse me, a few times on the show. There's a lot of things I could say and Ted has said himself on this show, he's not a doctor, and he should not be the head or co-head of anything called UAP Med, which basically claimed to be a medical organization that helps people with UFO abductions. Instead of, and it's not like a hotline where when you call them, they recommend you to professional help. They help you. The people who are not doctors. They'll put you into a really tight-knit circle of people that everyone can trust and talk to, instead of going to an actual therapist or psychiatrist or doctor. This is where I think this stuff gets really dangerous. And I like Ted Rowe. Like, I think he's a really nice guy. But I think Ted Rowe has some very, very dark demons. Very dark demons. And he's had some pretty crazy experiences. So, you know, once organizations like this are put out there as some sort of legitimate place to seek help, that's when I'm out. I'm just out. I mean, I did enjoy parts of it. And like I said, I already kind of went over those parts. But yeah, I mean, it was... after a certain point, it's not fun anymore. It's just like, oh shit, this is a cesspool of a conspiracy hole. And it's a cesspool of a conspiracy hole that I think sucks not everyone, right? But there are a select amount of people that really genuinely fall for this stuff. And some of them would even kill over it. And I think it's really dangerous when you got an organization like UAP Med. Really dangerous. Yeah, I mean, Whitley Strieber is on March 31st. And then you got That UFO Podcast, Andy, with Paul's Portal and Andy. Yeah. I mean, again, Andy and Dan Zetterstrom, to me, are one of the crown jewels in the propaganda UFO crown. Like that show. It's a crown jewel. Poses as a science show. It is labeled as science. When you look it up in iTunes, it is the farthest thing from science. The farthest thing. So, yeah, I guess that's my issue with UFO Twitter Week, is that there's no counterbalance to UFO Twitter Week. There's no, like, it'd be cool if you had a debate with Mick West and whoever on this fucking list, or, you know, just intellectual discussions between both sides that don't include people like UAP Mike being able to chime in whenever the hell they want. Yeah, I mean, on the surface level, this looks innocent and fun and the colors are great. But yeah, once you get past that surface level, I think it's just, yeah. It's not fun like it used to be for me anymore. And I guess I just see this stuff in a different light, man. It just hits different for me. You know, especially because I would have been psyched for this 2 years ago. It would be like, oh my God. A dog man, I would be like, oh, dog man. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that dog man. That's a reach for anyone. But not for UFO Twitter Week. UFO Twitter Week loves them some fucking dog man. Loves it. Yeah, so that's UFO Twitter week, guys. Those are my thoughts. My thoughts on UFO Twitter week. Since we were on Tim Gallaudet and this unhidden organization, let's talk about this. So Tim Gallaudet posted on March 26th, just as Congress has acknowledged the new reality of UAP and UFOs, they haven't. They have not done that. We need to address the mental health challenges of witnesses, which are fueled by decades long of misplaced stigma tied to them. That is the mission of At Unhidden Charity. I think that charity part has been added recently, but he is very proud to support it. So what is Unhidden? Well, let's take a look at it, shall we? So when we go to the main page of Unhidden, it says, we are here to support good mental health and reduce anxiety around exceptional experiences. So now you're exceptional. When you, I guess I'm an exceptional experiencer, as well as to encourage a better, kinder disclosure. Oh boy. It's amazing that these kinder disclosure advocacy groups have military men on them. Military men that we have transcript of talking about how they would knock people like David Fravor down a peg or two because they were a little too egotistical for his taste. Amazing. Because of the stigma associated with talking about UFOs, aliens, or other such phenomena, people need to be able to have a better conversation around this topic. Whatever the origin of what individuals have seen, it is their lived experience. This non-judgmental approach will help improve people's well-being and help them seek support from doctors and psychologists, as well as friends and family. We are here to help reduce stigma so that everyone is able to voice their concerns and express their needs, plus to ensure that any revelations or disclosure about the existence of non-human intelligence, NHI, so now it's UFOs, aliens, UAP, NHI, and Congress has acknowledged the existence of all of this, is what Tim Gallaudet is implying when he tweets what he just tweeted. Unreal. We are medically led, and we have a medical advisory board made up of doctors and clinical psychologists. This ensures that everything we do is consistent with best medical practice. Wow. So now they're positioning themselves to help the link to call in. Yeah, sure. I'll put a link to call in. We'll put one in for the second hour of this show. Let's see here. Let me create that. Every time you guys asking for a call-in link, you guys don't call in. All right. Let's see. Put that there. All right. All right. There you go. I hate that this thing doesn't let me pin this chat from there. All right. All right. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. All right. There we go. Okay, so we have 6 main functions and purposes: to promote supportive, fact-based conversations around exceptional experiences. 2, to develop relevant resources for counselors and other healthcare professionals to draw upon in their work. Okay, so you guys are going to provide the healthcare professionals with relevant resources. That's hilarious. To number 3, to liaise with organizations in the mental health arena to bring the importance of and seriousness of this topic to their attention. 4, to co-coordinate with other legitimate organizations working in the field to promote positive action to improve well-being and outcomes. Number 5, to campaign for a better, kinder disclosure, including undertaking research on, quote, ontological shock and developing strategies for dealing with it at individual, family, community, and society levels. And then last, to be a shoulder to lean on for anyone who is worried about unusual things that they have seen. Okay, so that sounds so warm and fuzzy, and it's so, oh boy, yeah. You know, these, so warm and fuzzy, all these people, they're just such great people. Okay, so who are the unhidden ambassadors? So Unhidden is also pleased to be supported by some of the leading figures who share our values and contribute to our mission. Ambassadors are invited to join our quote all hands meetings and are fully involved in our work. Our Unhidden ambassadors are Sean Cahill, retired U.S. Navy Chief Master at Arms, who wanted to yell and and hated David Fravor, hated Jeremy McGowan, hated me. Not a nice guy. We had Lizzie Borden on our show tell us a story about Sean Cahill yelling at the top of his lungs at Melinda Leslie and at a UFO con in Vegas. So this sort of gentler approach that you guys are going to treat these experiencers with, the ambassador that sits on your board is a self-described asshole. Like, he will tell you that. He will tell you that. So, good start. Next, you've got Alex Dietrich, former U.S. Navy fighter pilot. And to be honest, the more I think about Alex Dietrich, the more facts that come out about Alex Dietrich. She's a believer. She's a ufologist. She loves UFO art. She loves talking about this topic constantly. It's the only thing she discusses on her Twitter account. Her husband was on ATIP, the fake government UFO study. She failed to mention that ever publicly. So, again, another ambassador from the military, not usually known for their gentle approach to people. Then we've got Rear Admiral, U.S. Navy retired, and oceanographer Tim Galladay, who is, now this is his 4th organization that he's part of. And then we've got Dr. Beatrice Villarroel, and she's an astronomer. So out of the 4 people on your ambassadors list, only one of them is not anywhere associated with the military and is an actual scientist, as an astronomer, and the other 3 are from the Navy. No, you guys are... Yeah, I cannot imagine what that all hands meetings are like. I would almost bet all 4 of them do not show up. I would bet on that. And how often do you have these meetings? So let's see who's on their board. Medical Advisory Board. This is just hilarious. Everything that Unhidden does that relates to people or patients and their care is approved by a medical advisory board, which is made up of doctors and clinical psychologists. This ensures that our actions and activities are consistent with the best medical practice. I mean, it sounds like a medical board of like 10, 12 people that can, individually look at cases. It's 3. There's 3 members on this advisory board. Dr. Rachel Pugh, FRCP. And if we had some time, I did not look into these doctors, but I would love to know where they practice medicine. Dr. Daniel Stubbings, BA at Hans, MP Psych Clinic, and PG CTHE, HCPC, CP Cycle. Yeah, just a bunch of, and Dr. Daniel Weaver. There's no linkable resumes. There's no places of where they studied, what makes them experts to be on an advisory medical board for people who've been abducted by aliens. Why are they putting their name on a fucking website that uses stock images, doesn't give you pictures of who any of these people are? And when you go to the main website, it looks like a holistic site. It looks like we're praising Jesus. If I didn't read anything and they blurt out all the words, I'd say, oh yeah, this is probably like a Christian website. I don't know if it's a website for a church. This idea that your mind is this cloud. Where did you get these stupid images from? This is one of the worst websites I've ever seen. Ever. And then their main board, so not the medical advisory board, is made up entirely of volunteers who receive no remuneration for their work with Unhidden. No reimbursement. They do not get any money. They do not get paid. Remuneration. Had to look at that one for a second. I don't think I've ever used that word in my life. So we've got John Priestland, who's the chairman, Dr. Vinod Arjuna, and Dr. Rachel Pugh. So Pugh is on 2 different boards. I am a stock image. That is very, very true. Very true. It's just, dude, this is so sketch, man. Affiliated organizations. UAP Med, which we were just talking about. And again, no fucking links to any of affiliated organizations. They don't have a link to UAP Med. A brief history of ontological shock. This website sucks. Wait, let's check out their media coverage. And here we go. Why is the United Kingdom so far behind on UAP's policy? Article on the debrief.org. Strange encounters with the new wave of UFO hunters. Article on GQ magazine. It only takes one to be real, and it changes humanity forever. What if we've been lied to about UFOs? Another article on The Guardian. So that tells me that there's the last two specifically, the first one, not at all, but the last two specifically. I mean, it doesn't take much to get a blurb in GQ or The Guardian, but you might have a publicist putting those things in there, you know, and buying those moments in these magazines so you could advertise your fake UAP medical agenda. Unreal, dude. This is so gross. Like, this is so fucking gross. The facts. Let's see. What are the facts? Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank God I clicked on this because, yeah, here are the facts. There are many UAP cases that cannot be explained by the official Defense Department investigation team, and they cite the NDAA in the preliminary assessment. This was the task force, the UAP task force report from last summer. They also said that all of those unknowns didn't have enough data to validate them as knowns. And if there was more data on those unknowns, then we would have probably been able to classify and identify them. So fact number one, kind of busted. There are Navy videos of airborne craft carrying out maneuvers at speeds and with changes of directions that are impossible to attribute to human technology. They have been confirmed as genuine by the Pentagon. So this last part here is true. They have been confirmed by the Pentagon, but there is nothing, not one thing in either one of those three videos that shows maneuvers and speeds and changes of direction that are impossible to attribute to human technology. Not one video does that. Not one. As a matter of fact, the one called Go Fast is only going 40 miles an hour. So fact number two, complete bullshit. Fact number three, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office has shared videos of metallic spheres flying with no visible means of propulsion. They also said that this video and these spheres, we do not have enough data on what they could possibly be. They could be balloons. They could be drones. We've already established, Aero has established, that the drones that were seen by the co-pilots and the squadron to Ryan Graves, those things that they were seeing were drones. They were spherical drones that were highly maneuverable and top secret. They were classified drones at that time. So just because there's a picture of a sphere or a video of a sphere, and it even does this, does not mean it's alien. And we have technology that can mimic that stuff. So again, without all the data, yeah. And I can tell you right now, I can show you videos of missiles that have no visible means of propulsion. You don't see smoke or a plume coming out of the back of it. And the only way you would see it is if you had it under some sort of infrared, a different spectrum of light. So terrible. So already first three facts are not facts. And then the fourth they've got here, David Grush's evidence given under oath was found to be credible and urgent by the intelligence community's Inspector General. And we've talked about this so many times. Neither the attorneys for David Grush nor the ICIG, when they say credible and urgent, are referring to alien bodies, alien craft, reverse engineering programs. It is not in reference to any of that stuff, and he was not legally represented on that issue. And he is yet to provide, this is definitely over 300 days at this point. I think it's day 298 on Monday, was it? So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I think we're on, day 302, I think. Day 302 of zero evidence provided by David Grush. They're all secondhand stories. Trust me, bro, it's real. And I have it on good authority. And we've already heard from Arrow. We've heard from NASA. We've heard from lawmakers that we have an intelligence problem. We have intelligence officials like David Grush within the intelligence community that believe UFOs are visiting the planet Earth, that aliens are coming here and we are reverse engineering their craft. And that's a problem. That's a problem for national security. Because none of these people have evidence, especially when they look into it. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's top secret stuff. There's new toys that we have, but we're not privy to that information yet. But none of that stuff was made by aliens or reverse engineered by alien technology. All of those technologies and those breakthroughs are ours. And then the rest of them are balloons, air clutter, and then a percentage of them, it's turning out to be a very actually big percentage of them are adversarial drones from Russia, China, Iran, and drug-running drones over the border. And in some cases, they're joint effort drones that are spying on our nuclear facilities, our military bases, our infrastructure. It's coming. Like something bad is going to happen. And they are scrambling to catch up, to defend from it. So all of these facts here are not facts. So just again, another organization like Enigma, this is like Enigma, but with not as much money. This is Americans for Safe Aerospace. This is the Soul Foundation. This is Galileo. These are all the same bullshit people with their bullshit initiatives, and posing as this sort of goodwill effort while having military people on there who have been shown, especially in Sean Cahill's space, or in Sean Cahill's case, to be not any of those things at all, and should be trusted with anybody's story, or be trusted with treating anyone with any sort of sensitivity or empathy. Give me a break, man. Sean Cahill, like, he's literally the guy that sicks dogs on people. He's propagated, Christopher Sharp and all of his lies. Dude, he's not a good guy. He is not a good guy. So good luck, Unhidden. Anyway, that's Unhidden, everyone. That's the great organization that Tim Gallaudet sits on. Just so weird that all of these retired military guys are getting into this stuff. It's so stupid. Here's something that caught my attention. And Dan Warren posted this. God, it just kills me when Dan posts stuff like this. And he sort of placates to the George Knapps and the Jeremy Corbells. It drives me nuts, man, that he even considers this for a second to be a possibility is just hurts my soul. And honestly, this would have hurt my soul more than 2 years ago. It's just so, it's weak. It's UFO Twitter weak. WEAK.
Do you think that this has...
Let me turn up the volume here for you guys. And for me. Oh, that's the mic. There we go. All right. This is George Knapp's interview with TMZ. I think from like almost 2 years ago.
Do you think that this has anything to do with an object or objects outside of our solar system?
It's one of the possibilities you have to consider.
Give me a second one.
That they live here, that they've always lived here.
Meaning?
That they've always lived on Earth, that they've been here longer than us, that they're crypto-terrestrials. Maybe they live in the ocean. Maybe they live here, separated from us by some thin psychic dimensional membrane that they move back and forth. There are a lot of exotic ideas that have been explored and discussed behind closed doors.
The crypto-terrestrial hypothesis basically sort of maintains that we are sharing the planet with a species that's possibly as far in advance of us as we are as from chimpanzees in certain areas of development. Not necessarily.
I mean, chimpanzees can see us. Chimpanzees can interact with us. We can interact with them. We can teach them. They could go back to their other chimpanzees and go, I guess pretty cool. So we could trust that one. Even though it's a very basic relationship, there is a relationship between chimpanzee and humans. And it can be recorded and documented and measured and put in a lab and scientifically studied. There's none of that with this crypto-terrestrial hypothesis. Zero. It's so silly.
Not necessarily everything. We obviously have some things that the alleged crypto-terrestrials, or CTs as I refer to them for brevity, don't have, like a global infrastructure. I think it seems likely to me that the CTs utilize imagery that we associate with extrasolar aliens to disguise their presence, to kind of mask where they're coming from, and to throw us off the scent. I think one thing that this secret civilization among us has going for it is a very prolonged, maintained, and very well-cultivated sense of stealth. I think that they thrive on secrecy. I think that's a big asset. I think they're flesh and blood. I think a lot of them could possibly pass for human. And I think that they share the planet with us, and I think they're nomadic. And it seems to me that they are...
Go on.
Here to stay, in the sense that they've been here a long time. If you look at folklore, we find recurring references to them in different disguises. But then again, that seems to be kind of the hallmark of the whole thing. I think that UFOs are their latest disguise, because we automatically associate that with aliens from other planets. And there's nothing inherently unsound about the extraterrestrial hypothesis, and it's not mutually incompatible with the crypto-terrestrial idea. But nevertheless, I think that when we look at the evidence of like hybridization programs like Bud Hopkins and David Jacobs, I don't see what sense that would really make if it's an extrasolar species interacting with us. Why they would have any interest in human DNA like they're alleged to have. On the other hand, if we share a common ancestor with these beings, these people, it begins to make sense. And when you look at certain cases that have reproductive overtones, it's very interesting to consider that we're dealing with a genetically impoverished species right here on Earth that is utilizing us for genetic stock. Because it's very likely that
Dan Warren, shame on you.
Real and indeed sharing the planet with us, that they are marginalized and that they have a very compromised population. If that's so, then they might very well need to replenish their genetic stock from time to time. And to do so
So they've got all of this power and all of this technology and all of this consciousness ability to move through humans, live among us, live underwater, use technologies to do all of their cool shit, but they can't fix themselves from a genetic perspective, so they need humans to suck off of us like vampires. What kind of Mickey Mouse bullshit is that? Like, what is happening? And this is like, I'm trying not to make this personal because I know I know Dan. I like Dan. I really like Dan. I really like Dan. But his belief system has gone off the deep end in a lot of ways, not as extreme, but very similar to Chris Lato. Very similar. Where it's like we're really passing this kind of stuff off as a real hypothesis of something really happening right now. Is it a fun philosophical exercise? Absolutely. It's fun to think about. But if it is real, there should be a way to measure it and find it and access it. Now, with that said, that does lead to this interesting clip. And I'm interested to see what CERN, if anybody, a representative for CERN, has anything to say about this. And I'm interested to see what my audience has to say about this, which, by the way, we are at 160 people watching, 100 live on YouTube, and then another 60 on Twitter. So again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Button's right down below. Ring the bell. Hit that like button. Thank you very much. So this is a clip that Project Unity shared. And he says this scientist claims CERN has a secret program. Quote, there are beings from portals coming in and out. This is Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, an honorary professor, Russian Academy of Medical Science, which no offense whatsoever, but I'd be honest with you, that's a red flag for me. UN representative on psychological study and of social issues, co-founder and president of IPSE. So listen to what she has to say. So this is a big claim right here. Very big claim. And it's an interesting, we'll talk about it. But let's listen to this.
Actually, CERN is dealing with radionuclear research. But it is more than that, because there are lots of physicians. I know some. They're doing very strange experimentation. There are beings from portals coming in and out. It's physicists from the CERN who told me this.
They've tested.
Physicists from CERN have told her this. Who? You make a claim that big? She clearly has a couple in mind. Who? You know, I would like to know who made that claim before I even start to even begin to consider this as a reality.
Testified to beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes, they have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions. They say there are 17 different dimensions of reality. That's what those physicists say. Some others say there are more dimensions, you know. And now, when you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies. Intel, they say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time. Actually, CERN is dealing with radio.
Okay, so man, a lot of claims there. Okay, so They have a door, a portal where beings from the subatomic level and dimension, 17 different dimensions, are coming in and out of this door, this portal, and they're fighting against time. That sounds fucking awesome. That sounds awesome. Like the plot of a killer movie. I do believe she is correct, if I also remember correctly, that there is that out of the work that they have done at CERN, I think they have discovered a verifiable 17 other dimensions. I could be wrong on that. I'd have to double check that, but I do believe I remember either reading or hearing about that somewhere, that they are finding some very interesting things at the very core, at the subatomic level of the CERN project. Now, with that said, those are big fucking claims. And I think if you had multiple people making claims like that, I don't think they'd be telling her. I think they'd be telling the world. That's a wild claim. I'm not here. This isn't happening. Why do UFO people assume aliens would have DNA? That's a great question. Like, why would they assume that aliens have DNA? It assumes an exactly similar biochemical and evolutionary pathway. It's ridiculous. And yeah, I agree. It is ridiculous. Like, ultra-terrestrial, like crypto-terrestrials that can move through objects share the same DNA as us. Yeah, that's silly. that's silly. It's a silly thought. I mean, I'm sure they share aspects of it. I mean, we share aspects, that the same aspects of a banana as humans. So sure, there are elements, but come on, man. Like, that's a huge leap. That's a great point. So, going back to sort of this George Knapp clip and Dan Warren, like, again, these are fun ideas, and this is a big claim. I need names. I need real scientists from CERN. I need a presentation from CERN confirming, okay, look, yeah, these are the dimensions we found, and we've interacted with 17 different beings on the subatomic level from these dimensions. And yeah, it's fucked up our space-time continuum, and we're in the process of trying to recorrect it. You guys ever seen that show Loki? It's kind of like that. We're time cops now. We're time cops, essentially. I mean, that's what this sounds like. So, sounds cool. I mean, I'm in. Like, that sounds cool. But yeah, again, we gotta see some evidence of it. This was awesome. So I wanted to share this video. This is something that Jeremy McGowan shared, and he titled it "Vertical Takeoff Jet Drone That Hunts You Down and Kills You." Dude, check out this drone. This is pretty insane.
What happens if you combine a VTOL fighter jet with a kamikaze drone? Well, you get this. The all-new Roadrunner M drone interceptor, designed to hunt down other enemy drones. And it was built by the guy who made the Oculus Rift VR headset, believe it or not. Just announced by the defense contractor Anduril, it launches out of this hangar called a nest, which is part of a network of nests linked to just one operation base. It features a twin turbojet propulsion system and a high-G aeronautic design to track its targets, although its targeting system has yet to be named. And in the event where it doesn't make a glorious interception, it can land back VTOL style and be used once again.
So that is a beautiful example of somebody not knowing what the hell they're looking at, and they see this thing sitting in the sky like this.
Twin turbojet propulsion
vertically, right? Just sitting in the sky, and then all of a sudden it bloop, like David Fravor says, bloops like this, and fucking takes off like a bat out of hell. Yeah, and if you're a mile away, you might not hear that thing taking off. Dude, that is sick. And imagine again, like you have a suitcase of these things. That's what they basically launch from, is a suitcase. You get a cargo ship with 1,000 suitcases. I mean, look at what happened in Baltimore. Again, like, this is a perfect example of how vulnerable our infrastructure is, not only to just accidents, right, but to stuff like this. Now, if you had taken out a shipping bridge, like I'm thinking of the Long Beach, port, the Long Beach shipping port, and there are massive bridges that are just nothing but for trucks coming in and out of this port, shipping stuff to and from. You took out two of those bridges, a bridge in Baltimore, a bridge in New York, with a drone system like this, it would cripple the US economy. And it's just bridges. This is a very, very, very real issue. This is the scary shit that can you imagine, instead of a ship that lost power that took out that bridge, it was a drone swarm? How much different the conversation would be today? Can you imagine viral videos of seeing things like this just boom, 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 boom? People would be fucking terrified today. They'd be asking a lot of questions this whole last week. And I think things in the UFO, like Twitter week, this is what you guys are missing. What was that? Oh, Jersey Wazinski, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, I think we got a caller. All right, it's UFO Shane. All right, we're going to get to UFO Shane. He just called in. And then I've got this clip here from UFO Twitter Week, which was a great clip. But hold on, let me bring in Shane here. I'm going to shut my camera off. There we go. Bring in Shane. Shane.
What's up, Lou?
Hey, man. Can you hear me? Obviously.
Yeah,
right?
dude, I can hear you.
All right, cool.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, señor.
Oh, muy bien. Hell yeah.
¿Qué está pasando?
Yeah, man. See,
What do we owe this pleasure?
I was listening to your show about UFO Twitter Week, and I had, because I was a headliner for the last two.
Were you?
Yeah, I was.
I didn't see your name on this one.
I guess who wasn't invited to this one? This guy.
Why weren't you invited to this? I mean, UFO Mike made the invite. Why didn't you make the invite?
Well, I'm a skeptic. I guess is the only thing I can think of. There's no room for that. There's no room for that at all. And I know the person that gets all the guests for UFO Twitter Week. She's very sweet. But she's a true believer.
Who is the guest? Is it Hollywood?
Yeah. I mean, and Holly's sweet. But like Stephen Mira's on right now, and I've been dude, every time Stephen Mira or Barry have ever been on UFO Twitter at all, I'm there. I mean, I talk to them in emails and everything. And I didn't get so much as a DM to invite me to the show.
Nice.
I named my late rabbit after Stephen Mira because I love Stephen Mira. Why? I think he's kind of a grifter, but I also asked him if he was a grifter. I'm like, are you grifting for money? He's like, yeah, I am. I'm like, oh, well, that's more than anyone else has ever told me. But I don't know. I looked at the lineup and I was like, oh, they have Gonzalez on there. He loves those Nazca mummies, and I've been fighting those dudes all day. It's just like they're just phasing out any possible anyone with some sense. They're like, oh, this person has a little bit of sense, and they're questioning something. Let's just blocked them, like astral blocked me for no reason. Didn't say why, nothing. He was like talking to me about how his kid's baseball game and how his job was and how he's working with Ross Coulthart and Bryce Zabel. And I was like, well, those two dudes are losers. And he was like, oh, it's all good, man. And then he just blocks me all of a sudden. You know, and then I'm just not invited at all. I will not even join the UFO Twitter Week space at all. Because like you said earlier, there's no room for anyone who has any common sense. Or even just to ask a simple question. I mean, remember whenever Sean Cahill was in there and I was like, hey, I heard this story from Jeremy McGowan, man. Like, he's like, oh, love and light, man.
Yeah.
Love and light. And I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with any of this?
Yeah.
And then I got shit on for days for just asking Sean Cahill a question that wasn't about love and light and not sucking him off, basically. So that's basically how I see UFO Twitter Week now. Like, no room for skeptics at all. And I'm an experiencer, dude. Like, I'm someone who believes in the phenomenon for real. I don't believe in UFO celebrities. I think that they're full of shit and they're only in it for the money. And you know what I mean? Like, and then you read that Tim Galladay thing. I didn't even know about that till just, and I'm like, wow, like they're all from the military. How odd.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Well, all these guys and all that sit as advisors or you know, board members, they're all former military guys that are all connected to Cahill, that are all connected to Elizondo, that are all connected to Nolan, that are all connected to, you know, Eric Davis, and, you know, everyone in OSAP. It's a tree that has very long branches that connect to all these people. And I want to give a quick shout out to Arden Paranormal, who says, hey to you, by the way, Shay. But yeah, she's our moderator here. So thank you for being here, Arden. Love you to death.
Yeah, Arden's legit. You know, my thing about this community, like there was a guy earlier. God, I wish I could remember his name, but you know how it is on Twitter. And I work all day. I don't know what everyone else is doing on UFO Twitter, but they're not working regular jobs. They're just always there.
Yeah.
I literally, he was like, I'm trying so hard to get Jeremy Corbell and these guys to like, they're calling you a liar. Why aren't you defending yourself? And I was like, hey man, I've been looking at your posts for a while now. These people that you're looking up to, they do not care. They do not care. They're in it for the money. They don't give a shit about anything else other than like doing their next story, their next thing. And that's why I got to let them go, because they're not going to give you catastrophic disclosure. They're not going to give you any of this. And you just want to talk to them because they're famous or they have followers. And they're not really famous. They're UFO famous, which is like the worst famous you can be. So
yeah. I
don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore, Lou. Like I had Chris Bartell on the show, dude, in the middle of the night. I just went off on everybody. I was like, what more do you want? Like the dude worked at Area 51, he worked for the Janet flights, worked for the DOE, and he's not telling you what you want to hear, so you don't like him. What do I need to like pull Jesus Christ down from heaven himself? Like what more do you want from me?
What about Chris Bartell were they not liking?
The fact that he was literally saying that most of it is human technology. He said 98% of it is human technology, and people were just pissed. They were just pissed. I'm like, yeah, but this dude worked for the Department of Energy. He worked for Area 51. He's been on Skinwalker Ranch. He's not telling you what you want to hear. I said on the show, I was like, what more do you want from me as a person who loves UFOs? Do you want me to literally climb the ladder to heaven and pull Jesus Christ down, and he can give you the rapture? Like, I don't know what else to do here.
Well, there's
or I can just have someone show up. I don't.
There's nothing you can do, man. They have to hit a point just like you know, just like me, where it's you can no longer you know, like I always equate it to They Live, where you put on the glasses. Once you put on the glasses, it's really easy to see through this bullshit. It's really easy to call it out. And it's really easy to sort of get a better perspective on it, because you listen to it with a different filter. You look at it with a different filter. And I just think that getting to that point to where you put on the glasses, you have to go sometimes through an absolutely brutal street fight, just like Rowdy Piper, you know, did with what was it, Keith David? You know, it's just like you have to go through a 20-minute fucking drag out knuckle street fight, and even then they still want to fight you to put the glasses on, you know. But once they put them on, they're like, oh shit, you were right, I get it now. But even sometimes, like, you know, I saw him in the chat earlier, like Tupacabra, like where they see the bullshit, but then for some reason they go back to the bullshit. They go back to placating and propagating with the bullshit. And it's just like, you can't have your cake and eat it too with this topic, man. You just can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah, I don't sacrifice any of my beliefs. I'll go on like the Skyfire thing, and I'll just shit on the guests. I'm like, I don't believe anything you're saying, and that's why they keep me around, I guess, because I'm like the skeptic guy. But I really mean it. It's like I know something is going on, but I also know that the U.S. government has weird, awesome shit, and it's not so hard to believe. Everyone, the last thing anything should be, honestly, Lou, like if you see a video, right? And everyone on UFO Twitter be like, oh, it's aliens, man. It's aliens. That's the last thing it should be. Maybe it is aliens. Maybe it is. But that's not the first thing you should jump to. The first thing you should jump to is not aliens or angels or demons or jinn or whatever. It should be something. It should be like you should try to make it prosaic. You should do your best to do that. But you even try to do that, and you just get trashed. You just get trashed. Like, how dare you not think it's aliens? I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Am I in a loony bin? But I used to be just like it, Lou. You know how it is. I used to be just like it too. Yeah, I have sympathy.
Well, no, no, you're not a loony bin. You're just, you're just no longer welcome into the cult. Which is like, I'm good with that. I didn't want to be in the cult anyway. But just like, every other cult, there's always somebody there to tell people, yeah, don't go in there. It's bullshit. Like don't. They
didn't even give me sandals.
Don't wander in there.
They didn't even give me sandals or a toga. You know what I mean? Like that would have been dope. Like how you go to MUFON and give them money so they can sell your data to collectors. Like, at least with UFO Twitter, I should have been like, sent a cult, but you have to pay stock Stephen Greer for that. You don't even get the toga. You just have to watch him wear it very tightly against his flesh.
I would say they definitely gave me a toga and a little leaf to wear, a little leaf thing to wear on my head.
A leaf.
A leaf crown.
They gave me one for my crotch. They didn't give me one for my head. It was straight for the crotch.
That's weird.
I've been trying to get into a UFO sex cult for years now, Lou. It's not working.
Well, because you got to pay for those, man. Those aren't free. You think you can just wander into a UFO sex cult with a beard like that, being like, "Hey, I'm here." They'll be like, "Nah, buddy, you gotta go through an initiation and some kind of fee, at least,
Yeah, 100%. I could join a crypto cult all day, but UFO sex cults are rough. Not letting me in.
Those are rough, man.
Me in.
Yeah,
they're rough. But I just want to say, Lou, as a former true believer, someone who was on message boards like saying Pablo Sar's going to be a hero, man. They're going to build statues of this guy. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, George Knapp says he knows where element 115 is. That's disclosure. And then arguing with these Nazca mummy guys who are just like avoiding, like, that's like.
Nope. We lost Shane. He froze. I think I know where he's going with this. Oh, yeah, we lost Shane. All right. Well, anyway. It's tough to be... Man, it's tough to be part of this cult. Let's see. I think Shane got... Yeah, there he goes. He came back. What's up, Shane?
I was just saying, everyone's dodging lies. They're dodging liars, and then you look up, Ross, or you look up Bryce Abel. Like, Bryce Abel said that someone came out of a bush at his house and wrote the secrets of the universe on a napkin. Can't find the napkin, though. How odd.
No, of course not.
Well, I don't know what to...
Well, it's funny. Fucking Danny Sheehan writes on a fucking manila, cardboard backing the symbols of an alien language. And, okay, so where's that manila pad? Where'd you put that thing? That'd be kind of helpful, don't you think?
Yeah. And those security guards are just like, oh man, we're just going to avoid that. Like, let's let him do that. It's fine.
Yeah, that whole story.
And then I watched the Nazca mummy guys. No bullcrap. We're like, look at this. Like, it's just like what Danny Sheehan wrote. It was the same symbols. I'm like, this is absolute nonsense. Absolute trash.
I missed that one. I missed that.
Yeah,
one.
Dude, I got all about it.
But I did we did talk about Ryan Graves not wanting to be seen in front of doing interviews in front of the mummies when he was in Mexico, which was really funny.
Yeah, he's like, I'll do the interview, but not in front of this.
Yeah.
Not here. But I told Ryan, I literally talked to Ryan before he went. I'm like, hey, here's a list of all of Jaime's lies. Here's like what Jaime's done in the past. And Ryan was like, oh, no, it's whatever. But you're not, when you talk to Ryan Graves' Twitter account, it's not Ryan Graves. It's his PR team.
Yeah.
The same way that Stephen Greer will post on Twitter and people like love him. But it's not Stephen Greer. It's whoever he pays to run his Twitter account. They're not genuine. And genuineness, like I talk to people who are genuinely experiencers, and I believe that they're having something happen to them. I believe paranormal is very real. But they're being genuine. And these guys aren't being genuine. And I just pretty much leave it at that, I think.
I agree. I don't think they're being genuine whatsoever. But, well, dude, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. And, be careful.
Try.
Be careful, buddy.
Try.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.
Later, man.
Later. Peace. All right, guys. That was Shane. Okay, so this is one thing that popped out. And by the way, the link's still good. So if you guys want to pop in here and chat, you can. Please do. We've got this really strange clip from UFO Twitter Week. I was just going through the hashtag, and this is part of the ugly that we got from UFO Twitter
in the community,
Week.
Now that
sorry, man, that's not a dildo you're getting out of that box, is it?
Oh God, I was gonna say, what is in the box? I'm so curious.
It's a Mitch McConnell dildo. I always knew Mitch McConnell was a dick, but he's such a dick that they actually made a Mitch McConnell dildo. It's got his I can't zoom the camera in, but it's got his name there, and and it actually looks like him down to his turkey neck. I got this off of John Greenwald's sex toy website.
You're shitting me.
Nice.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say that would
really classy. This guy talking about turkey necks is just speaking from a guy who has a turkey neck. You've also got one too there, Matt Ford. Don't it's literally right there. Oh, wait, let me do this so my audience can see it. So that way everyone knows exactly. Look at that. Look at that. This guy's talking about turkey necks on Mitch McConnell. Look at that. Look at that. All right. And now, so he bought the dildo from John Greenwald's website. This is such a stupid rumor about John Greenwald, man. It's so stupid. And these guys just keep repeating it like it's true. What podcast is this? This is the Unidentified Anomalous podcast. Yes, this is the other propaganda posse. Yeah, just for future reference, if Matt Ford is on that show that you're listening to, they cannot be trusted. They cannot be trusted unless, of course, they are ripping Matt Ford to shreds with facts. And we see that double chin really gobble. But good luck doing that, because he turned down a debate with Mick West because he's too scared to debate facts with Mick West.
Really kill me, dude. I'd log out.
Yeah, and it comes complete with "get fucked by your government." Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is fucking Americans with his anti-abortion stance, and he's doing it without our consent.
But yet, Matt Ford loves and high fives Tim Burchett, that believes the exact same things as Mitch McConnell. But yet you'll cheer on Tim Burchett because Tim Burchett believes in UFOs. If Mitch McConnell was as adamant and as loud as Tim Burchett was on UFOs, what would Matt Ford do then? Where would he put that dildo? I've got a suggestion, Matt. I have a feeling you might like it.
Help fund reproductive freedom and tell Mitch McConnell to go fuck himself along the way. So I give this to the 100th caller. So there you go.
There you go.
And I have to say, I don't know for a fact that John Greenwald has a sex toy website. I've never seen it, but I've been told by a lot of people that would know about things. Maybe Mitch McConnell told me as well that that's one of his side gigs. But you know what? Knock yourself out. No judgment there.
Fucking asshole. What an asshole.
So like in the community now that
he's such a douchebag. You're not funny. You're not original. You're not hilarious. You're just a douchebag, Matt Ford. You're just a douchebag. And if you're too scared to debate Mick West, come debate me. Come debate me. You fucking asshole. Oh, what a goonball. What a goonball. All right, so I think this is going to be one of the last things we cover here. Oh, no, wait. Before we get to that, I wanted to talk about this clip here. Good old Chris Sharp. Good old Chris Sharp. Liberation Times. Ay. Listen to what this guy says in this clip.
Something Danny Sheehan has been, saying recently. He's been, he's been quite outspoken, and he's been talking about the fact that there are multiple species of NHI interacting with us, as far as he's concerned. I think he's like
Chris Sharp just got out of bed.
If species or more. What do you make of that? Have your sources said anything to you about that? Where do you stand on that? Just give me your thoughts.
I think it's very, very interesting.
Oh,
definitely very, very interesting. I mean,
why?
I don't have any specific knowledge on that, but I would take what Danny says relating to that specific topic seriously.
Why?
I think.
Why should we do that?
I think that's very, very important. And
why is that important?
Previously, I've mentioned there may be competing factions of these things, which is why it's being claimed to me that some crashes are the result of dogfights, where these things are fighting each other. And it looks to me like.
Oh my God, dude. Chris Sharp is now believing that these things are fighting each other, that these crashed craft are because these craft have fought each other, that there's some sort of alien war going on above our heads, and every once in a while one of them loses a dogfight. Like, why would aliens have to dogfight? Why would aliens have to do military maneuvers to take out other craft? It's so ridiculous.
But I would take what Danny says relating to that specific topic seriously. I think, and I think that's very, very important. And previously I've mentioned there may be competing factions of these things. Which is why it's being claimed to me that some crashes are the result of dogfights, where these things are fighting each other.
Who claimed that to you? Who said that to you? Because that is some bullshit. That is some lore repeating itself bullshit.
And it looks to me like there is a broader agreement whereby they're acting within a control system. So it's a control system for humanity, basically. So that's why you have the low observability or low visibility of these things. So you don't give the game away and show yourself on the White House lawn or get yourself brilliant, give someone a brilliant picture proving that you exist. It very much seems to be a control mechanism, which is why they don't show themselves more, which is why they use signature management, which was a term used on the UAPTF report, for example. And that might explain why, because this is part of the control system for humanity. I mean, the best.
I don't know this, but I know it's a control system, mate. It's a control system. Yeah, they don't show themselves so they get more control. Doesn't make any sense, I know, but just go along with it, mate. It's fine.
Best way to kind of like explain it would be like through the Greek gods, for instance, you know. They had their quarrels with each other. They didn't get along with each other and they had their own relations, but still they acted within a control system to a certain extent towards humanity. So that might be a good way of kind of like putting it. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there were multiple species, definitely, and it would definitely chime with what I've been told.
Yeah. By your sources or by somebody else, or
yeah, by sources, yeah.
Oh,
like I said,
by sources.
Dog
Yeah. By my sources, man. Yeah, all my sources, man. By Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp and Lou Elizondo and Sean Cahill, man. Those are my sources, man. Those are my sources. Yeah. Like, these people have families and children. like now imagine this. Imagine this in our intelligence community. Imagine this guy coming up to Sean Cahill and going, I'm not telling you anything because I've been told I can't trust you when it comes to non-human intelligence, Dr. Kirkpatrick. I don't care how many programs or things we've coordinated on with. I know you've come to my house for my birthday. Technically speaking, we're friends. Can you imagine? This is the kind of guys that are sitting in our intelligence communities. That's fucking terrifying. And that's what Marco Rubio was referring to. And this guy is basically David Grush. Now just imagine if Christopher Sharp had all of the resume notches of David Grush. That's it. Just that's all you do is just take Grush's resume and put it under Chris Sharp. And that's what we're dealing with within the intelligence community. Fucking loons.
Yeah.
Different factions, definitely.
And again, on that subject, on that, and while we're in that area, this is something I've asked
believes
you in previous
anything his sources tell him, just like Dave Grush. What a nightmare that must be to deal with. How many of these guys, look at this guy, how many of these guys are sitting within our intelligence community? I have a feeling it's more than we'd like to admit or know.
Interviews, but of course things change, right? Based on the information you've been getting, do you have any leaning as to where or what these things are? Like, is it again interplanetary, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, future human, other? There's probably a few other things we could come up with, but yeah, what's your latest like leaning, if you have one?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like all of the above, you know. I think people often speak about spiritual realm as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting to take into account, and I don't rule anything out. I think there's multiple kind of like intelligences.
You guys, look, I can't just whip out accents like that. All right, they're gonna bleed. My Australian and my British and my New Zealand accents all bleed together. So I really have to work on one to get one. All right, so please, God damn it, I'm trying to be funny here. I'm trying to have a good time here. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. Here we go. Estimate of the situation is in the house. Hi, darling. How are you? Here we go. Oh, wait. I think you were echoing there.
Wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Yeah, no, I saw you were pretty disappointed about UFO Twitter week.
Yeah, disappointed. I mean, it was exactly what I expected. But yeah, there were some people on that lineup that I don't understand why are on the lineup. Some of the conversations I listened to were very, very, it goes beyond fun and entertainment. It goes into a place of, like fake facts, just fake factual stories and things that have no basis in reality. And it's just kind of frustrating, to be honest, to listen to.
I mean, it's easy to say that, but this is not something that's done in an official capacity, right? It's not like an organization coming down and saying,
no,
well, here's XYZ, right? It's just a group of people that have an interest and are doing so in a public setting in somewhat organized manner. Like this idea that this is like extremely organized is also kind of a rumor. That's not very true. I know the people who run it, it's a lot of running around trying to get people to just like be online at the same time, and also offers like, you know, a space for maybe more of the bigger people in the space that like you normally wouldn't be able to interact with, right? Because it wasn't all fun and games. Like there's been a couple of spaces where, you know, people have been challenged, where people I mean, I got into an argument with Dodie and Jack Sarfati a little bit. I think I sent you that clip, but it's not like the brainwashing mechanism that you're making it out to be. It's just people trying to organize a bit better in a very fractured community.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's I don't think I've been selling it as a brainwashing factory. I just been selling it more. It's just kind of disappointing. It's just like a lot of these conversations just end up divulging into a lot of really crazy conspiratorial thinking and talk. I didn't get to listen to the Sarfati discussion, but I find it very infuriating listening or even interacting with Sarfati. He's just such an egomaniac. It's hard to get a word when you do get a conversation with him.
You are not the only one, trust me.
Yeah. But I think it's just, you know, look, I understand what it's like to organize an event. I get it. I've done that many times. But I think it's also, you know, like if you're going to make a poster and you're going to put UAP Mike and his wife on there, and you're going to have people who've doxed people like Dan Zetterstrom. It's just, it doesn't, for me, doesn't leave a great taste in my mouth, because I've seen what those people are capable of. I've seen what those people do within the UFO Twitter community. And now they're, you know, spokespersons for the UFO Twitter week. It just, you can understand my perspective, right?
They're not. I understand where you're coming from, but they're not spokesperson. Like no one here is a spokesperson for anybody or for anything. Like I said, it's just a group of people with different opinions who are organized something throughout a week. It's not even as official as you're making it out to be. And there's a lot of beefs flying around. There's a lot of bullshit flying around between a lot of different people. This is just a chance to for people to come drop in and listen and, you know, I don't know, either agree or disagree, push back or whatever, you know. And
well, that's all I'm doing is I'm just disagreeing with it. I'm disagreeing with it. And I think personally, look, like you may say it's unorganized, and I believe you. I understand how disfractured this community is. It's something I tried to unite for 3 different events, and they fought it tooth and nail. So I get that. But you made a list of guests. You know, this list and this hashtag is made to advertise this week. It's made to bring in new people. It's made to spread a message. It's made to populate and propagate and be something that goes viral. That's the whole point of it. And the reason why you make a poster with all of these different names and all of these different subjects is to get people to participate. So I have a right to be critical of that effort. I have a right to listen in on that. And people have a right to organize that stuff just as much as I have a right to be critical of it. I just think, I mean, on my show, I just want people to be aware that if you are going to go into a conversation like that, and if you're going to participate in UFO Twitter Week, take anything and everything you listen to or hear with an absolute grain of salt, if not less than.
Yeah, well, I think that goes without saying anytime you approach this topic. I mean, you know, if you DM'd Astro, I'm sure he would have you on. To be honest, I think that would be pretty funny. But I just call in and say, like, it's not as bad as people think. It really is just like community members trying to come together. And again, something that's very fractured and very divisive. And you're not going to agree with everything out there. I certainly don't. There's a lot of spaces that I was very frustrated with, but there's some spaces where I listened and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And there's spaces where I push back, against people. So it's
Well, I know you do. Yeah. And look, man, yeah, it's for sure it's unfair to paint the whole brush, right? But I think the thing that triggered me is just seeing UAP Mike's name on that poster and sort of advertising like, oh, these are, and again, they're not spokesperson, but they're stewards. Their names are on there to sort of attract people, and to attract a curiosity. So, when you open up the gates for a guy like UAP Mike and his wife, who have been just some of the worst examples of people on this community, I know it's not made to, like, it's not like they were at the top of that poster and his name was bigger, I get that.
right.
But
No,
I don't know.
it does
It's
sound
just
like you're singling
like,
in
I feel
on
like
one person.
of all of, well, there's like 2 or 3 people on there. I've named other people too, but that one is the one in particular where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? Out of all the people, all the voices, all of the perspectives, those are the people you bring onto the show or into this thing?
Well, first of all, like, Mike and his wife, they've been nothing but nice to me. So, like, what happened between you guys and all the other stuff, like, I can't speak to it. That's, that's in the public sphere. It's in the public sphere. It's between you guys. It's between you guys. I don't know. Frankly, I mean, like, I wish you went as hard as, Doty hosting spaces every week and, talking to people about hepaloids and stuff like that. Like, I wish that got more of a microscope or something under your lens instead of something like this, where it's just a bunch of
talked to
people getting
Doty and
together.
we covered talking to Doty on this show in one of those stupid spaces, so I've lit Doty's ass just as much as I'm lighting UFO Twitter Week's ass, like I'm just as
Well,
critical.
then you're fair all around, I guess.
I'm trying to be, I'm not perfect. But yeah, no, I mean, I think the fact that we even give him the room to have spaces, that people actually go there and listen to him, like, it's just unfortunate, but I can't control that. Like, I can't control it, but I could go in there and ask him questions and, like, he's making big claims about the office, the Air Force, the AOFSI. And, I'm like, oh, interesting. You're doing those things under the Air Force office. Cool. When, where, what year, who was your subordinate? Who was your boss? Let's try and FOIA these things. Oh,
I would love
all of a sudden he can't remember.
Lou, I would love to see you come into spaces and say the same exact thing. Like,
I
really would. And I really think you should
have.
DM either Astro or Holly and try to get that going.
I have, and I've been met with nothing but, sometimes it's open ears and open minds and open hearts, but most times it eventually turns into just a witch hunt, because it's ultimately, anytime you go into these spaces, you're advocating against the belief system, and that's difficult to do. It's difficult to do delicately, but it's also just difficult for people to accept. It's really difficult.
Yeah, well, would you rather have this or a week-long Ashton Forbes week?
Oh man, I'm surprised we didn't get Ashton Forbes on the poster. Honestly, I don't know if there's a big difference, man. Honestly, you could have put Ashton Forbes on that poster and it wouldn't have made it any less legitimate.
But that's my point. It's not legitimate. It's not legitimate in a sense where it's an official thing. It's just people coming together to talk about something. I understand if, like, it was asking you to sign up and, like, join a cult or join a church or
but
donate
some
X
of these
amount of money to
these
a cause.
things are, though. some of these things are. Like when you look at UAP Med, and we just went over the unhidden stewardship, and they're looking for volunteers, and they're looking for, funding. Yes, they are. I'm sorry. I disagree with you there. Just because it's not as blatant as a Linda Moulton Howe or a George Knapp doesn't mean that's not what they're doing.
Yeah. Also, I just want to add too that this gives people the opportunity to get some of these people in this space that we otherwise wouldn't have access to, and actually ask them real questions.
No, sometimes
again, that's the reason why people like you yourself should be participating.
And look, and there have been those moments like when a Gary Nolan pops into a space. I think that's amazing. I think that's the usefulness of the space. And what the hell just happened there? Hold on a second. Sorry, I just started some music. Hit my spacebar there. I think that's the beauty of these spaces, is that, yes, you're right. And that was the same thing with the Big Phone Home in my show. And the reason why we had people call in and get an opportunity to ask Lou Elizondo a question. Get an opportunity to interact with one of these people that you've always wanted to interact with. I think that's valuable. And I think there are moments, and there have been moments that have come out of those spaces that have added clarity. The most recent example, it wasn't a space, but it was a UFO meeting point in the Askapol conversation that they had with Eric Burleson, where he said in there, like, yeah, he doesn't trust Lou Elizondo. He doesn't trust David Grush. There are aspects and there are parts of it that are interesting, but yeah, I'm not just going to believe everything that I'm told. So yes, I agree with you. There is value to those spaces, but I think where the spaces lose me is where they're not just, I feel like, and I don't want to, again, paint a broad brush, but it's just very simple to say, oh, we're just talking. And it's like, yeah, you're talking, but there's also a lot of things you're talking about in there that are being declared fact, and they're just not. They're not facts. And I think at the surface level, yes, it's an innocent good time. But I think in most of these conversations, not all, but in most of these conversations, there isn't an estimate of the situation. There isn't a Lou Jimenez. There isn't a Shane or somebody in there just to be like, hey, can we talk about this a little more seriously, a little more grounded? And I think when those moments happen, that's when the conversations get interesting to me. I hear a lot of echo chambers.
I think Shane's spaces are the opposite of grounded.
Yes, I agree. I agree. They're more, even as ungrounded as Shane is, and as sometimes unhinged as Shane is, it's coming from a place of I understand where he's coming from. I get it, but yes,
who he is. He doesn't hide that.
Yeah, he is who he is, exactly.
So are you in Red good now? Like, what's up with that?
No, I don't think I'll ever be good with Red and those guys again. I just can't. I can't, man. Like, there is this. And I was talking about this with my buddy Charlie. There's just this this element of crypto bro, ultra right wing, diet right wing aspect to these guys that I don't like. I don't like at all. I don't like Red Panda's fucking his campaign to help Chupacabra clear his name of all of the racist shit that he's done. It was just a weird move by Red Panda to just stop everything he was doing to defend that guy for the last 2 years.
Wow,
it's just weird.
No, I thought you guys would have like made up by now. But
well, look. For a time there, we did bury the hatchet, not to a point where we're like buddies or friends or anything like that, but to a point where we're at least cordial with each other. But as soon as the Skyfire News started and all of the nonsense that happens there, that's probably never going to happen again.
Yeah, they traded you in for Ashton.
Yeah, they traded in a lot of people in for Ashton. That bridge is burning pretty badly now, especially now that one of the main journalists that is looking at that is coming out with some new information and new wreckage has been found. Yeah, I
think that's interesting. He's going on the Julian Dory podcast, which I think everyone should watch. because Ashton was on there and it did not go very well. But I gotta run. I just wanted to, you know, basically just say again that these are regular people, most of them anyway, and you know, I urge you to participate. If you have your right to be critical, you have your right to be angry about anything, but you know, come like just come by, come say something, come ask a question.
Yeah, no, I think I've been in a lot of those spaces. I've been in a lot of those, and I've heard you in those spaces, and I honestly I enjoy your voice in there more than most, excuse me. So you know, like, yeah, I think there are certain voices in this, and I include you in this, you know, where you're genuinely trying to have fun. You're genuinely trying to have a philosophical conversation, and I never hear you attach facts to any of this stuff. You know,
I make comic books. I'm not a ufologist.
Right. You make comic books. Right.
I gotta run.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'll see you around.
All right, my man. All right, guys, that was Estimate of the Situation, which, by the way, gave me a comic book, and it's awesome. I've got the first edition, and it is the coolest, one of the coolest UFO memorabilia things I have. I don't even want to open it. I want to keep it pristine. It came in a top secret manila foil. It was so cool. So cool. I opened it here on the show, so go check it out. And yeah, I mean, if you want a cool comic book and a fun comic book to read about UFOs, check out Estimate of the Situation, because it's great artwork. It's and yeah, the stories are based on true events, right? They pull from UFO lore, and then they're added upon in a comic book fashion, and it's cool. Like stuff like that I can appreciate, and stuff like that to me is not. It's not like Hunt for the Skinwalker, you know, or a DVD about Antarctica, a documentary about Antarctica, and you've never stepped foot in Antarctica. You know, it's a comic book. So to me, that's a way different kind of, it's a business. It's not a grift. There's a big difference. So I appreciate, you know, calling in, and I will ever since this whole Skyfire News Spaces things, I've been really avoiding Spaces the last month, but I will come back. I'll come back, and I'll insert my questions and opinions into those conversations, because I do enjoy them. I do have fun. Matthew's in the house. Matthew, what is going on? Thank you for being here, dude. All right, here we go. So what will we, oh yeah, let's listen to the rest of this clip here.
Let's listen
to the rest of Chris Sharp.
Some may not be physical. Some may reside in this earth, some may not reside in this earth. Some may have resided in this earth, and now are on our own planet, but they might come back at some point.
Yeah.
Especially if they find that we've retrieved some of their stuff and they want to get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open to all. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, definitely. But look back at what I said in a few years' time, maybe some of it might be noteworthy.
I guarantee you, none of it will be. Not one fucking thing that Chris Sharp has written, talked about, advocated for will be noteworthy or referenced in history ever, unless it's just a point and make fun and mock it. So, okay, there was. Yes, I wanted to talk about this. I'm not sure if we're going to get to the 3-body problem video, but I think this one is a little more important. So this was Askapol UAP with an exclusive clip from Representative Luna, and I think this clip is very telling. And this was a great little clip here from Matt. Why am I forgetting Matt's last name? Matt Laszlo. There it is. Yeah, this is a great clip by them. So I've included the link to this in the description below. So if you want to hear the whole interview, it's you have to subscribe to listen to the whole thing. But thankfully, they are gracious and shared the clip, and I've got the link to that clip below. Again, if you want to listen to it, but let's listen to it here together.
Do you have any thoughts on the motion to vacate?
I haven't seen it being introduced yet.
Oh yeah. What do you... Did you see that Joint Chiefs of Staff memo on UAPs?
I have not yet.
What do you... I mean, it's interesting that it goes to that level.
I mean, I've told you guys, I think that there is absolutely, without a doubt, something there, and I think the level of pushback that we get is pretty obvious, and so I look forward to being able to hopefully get something seriously considered for the next Congress in regards to an actual committee, because I think it should be investigated. And you guys can see there's a ton of bipartisan support. But I'm at the point where I've also we have a lot of information coming to our offices, so being able to sift through what's accurate, what's disinformation, I think that that's incredibly important. So we're making sure that we're not putting out wrong information or false information to discredit the movement.
How would you describe the relationship between the Pentagon and the contracting industry? Are they, have we seen the wedding like Eisenhower foreshadowed?
I believe the people yelling in the back are like Palestine protesters. Again, there's so many bigger, I just found it funny. There are people actually protesting outside of Capitol Hill for real world stuff. And here we are talking about UFOs. It's just man, silly. I hear that in the background and I feel so silly. It's just dude.
I think it's very evident that there's not enough oversight and that we have to make sure that we're, staying cognizant. Sorry.
And that's fair. That's a fair comment. There's not enough oversight. There's not. There needs to be more oversight on the special access programs, how they're funded, who they're funded by. We need transparency on all of that stuff. I'm with that part of this discussion.
I'm making sure that these weirdos
You have day job. What kind of last question? Are you worried? Could it be that the SAPs that Russ brought up are hidden in the contract?
Well, and that's exactly why we need more oversight. Sorry.
It's all good.
Bond on right now!
Yeah. Because you guys don't feel like you...
Yeah, bond on her now. They're protesting something. But yeah, this is an interesting answer here.
Yeah, well, you guys know that they've denied us access. So, we again need more people involved, but there's a ton going up here, so we have to just make sure that we stay focused on it and that we continue our support for it.
Again, she was denied access because she doesn't sit on any of the committees that would allow her to have access to those things. So yeah, every single congressman that went to that base did not have access to any of the things that they were asking to access for.
Have you ever talked to Rubio about it?
This is an interesting question. Have you ever talked to Rubio about it? Listen to what she says.
I have not been able to talk to anyone in the Senate.
I have not been able to talk to anyone in the Senate. That's how much power she has on this topic. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Not one senator will sit down and talk to her about this topic. One of the loudest congressmen and supporters of the UAP bill, the Schumer amendment, the NDAA, and she can't get a meeting with Rubio or Gillibrand or any senator, any Gang of 8 member. They don't want to talk to her.
I've told you guys that, but we've not really been able to.
Rubio's in the same state. She's too right-wing for Rubio.
You requested it?
We've reached out to see what we can find from different staffers and whatnot, but yeah, we'd be happy to sit down and have a meeting with all of them.
They've reached out to staffers, have gotten nothing. Not even the staffers will get back with her. That's how much power and influence she has within Congress.
As always, I'll be watching. Have a good reason.
Anyway, great work by Matt Laszlo. Pretty good questions. Again, I would love him to ask. I'm not sure why he's not asking the same question that Stephen Greenstreet is asking lawmakers. Are you aware and are you concerned about the fraud and the waste and the abuse that happened in OSAP, ATIP, and now possibly today with, Arrow and all of these things that are in place and all of these different organizations that are petitioning the government to help the government look at aliens and UFOs. those are the kind of questions I'd love to see out of Matt Laszlo. But I mean, to be fair, he's the only actual feet on the ground, boots on the ground journalist, reporter asking about this topic every single day on Capitol Hill. So he's a local guy, and I applaud it. I think he deserves your support. So if you want to go support him, again, link is in the description, so go do so. And thank you, Arden Paranormal, for sharing my Patreon link there. I appreciate it. So if you guys want to support this show, you can do that as well. And by the way, we've got almost 200 people watching, again, between Twitter and YouTube. We've almost got 200 people. So again, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't rung the bell, if you haven't shared the show, please do so now. If you want more rational thought on things paranormal. So yeah, that's the show, guys. We've hit the end. Man, I think that was a jam-packed show. Fucking Matt Ford talking about his Mitch McConnell dildos and all sorts of stuff. This was amazing. You guys, woo, thank you so damn much. Sorry for blowing out your ears there. Thank you so damn much for tuning in to another episode of Lou Reviews. Please do not forget to smack that like, share, subscribe button, ring the bell. That way when we go live, you are notified. We didn't even talk about, gosh, Stephen Greenstreet's got an interview coming out with Kirkpatrick. That's going to be amazing. We didn't even get to speculate or talk about that. I am so excited. I have no idea when this interview is dropping, but the second it does, we are going to cover every second of it. So ring that bell, because we're definitely, that is a conversation I'm going to dissect all big time. So cannot wait for that one to pop out. So ring the bell. If you really truly love the show, become a member. We've got members in the chat. That's a great way to support the show. And we've got a link to Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You can help support the show and help produce our show. With that said, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the holiday weekend. Enjoy your spring breaks if you're on spring break. Enjoy Easter. Enjoy your Good Friday. Enjoy the holiday. Yeah. Have fun. Once again, thank you for embarking on this journey of discovery together. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and thank you for helping raise the bar here at Lou Reviews. Until next time, until Monday, we'll see you guys. Have a killer weekend.